Hello, magical earthlings. It is the most glorious, hot, sunny summer day. Although it feels a bit weird saying it's a summer's day because it still feels like spring, but it is just divine. And I am here wandering and pondering around the beautiful northwest Oxfordshire countryside for another episode of your weekly Wandering and Pondering. And I'm Chloe Rose, your host, founder and creatrix of Mystic Hearts, your one-stop shop for multidimensional healing, badass witchery, and all things weird, whimsical, and magical. Whew. I'm taking it slow today, super slow. I'm actually taking us into the Bluebell Grove. Hello! Taking us into the Bluebell Grove because I know it's going to be nice and sheltered and cool in there. And I just love the vibe in there. So I'm just slowly walking over there now, and there's some kind of event going on in the village that I'm in today. So fingers crossed, it will be really quiet. Now, normally I don't record content so much over the weekend, but I've just had a crazy week this week. So it feels really good doing it on a weekend, but of course that means it's generally more busy out and about. So we'll see. I have a feeling we're going to be lucky though and not bump into anyone. Not that it matters. So there's been something that has been clawing underneath my skin this week that I've just been really wanting to get off my chest and talk about, and it's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. It's going to be along the themes of transmuting feelings and expressions of the wounded feminine into the dark feminine, what that means, what that looks like, and deeper than that, where does it root from? And I'm going to be talking about abandonment wound and attachment styles. So quite a juicy topic to talk about today. And before I dive into it, I just have to say, thank you, because I have officially been accepted as a YouTube partner. I thought it would take like a week or something. I got the email, I applied, and I'm officially a YouTube partner now. And it's all thanks to you. Every single person who shows up and watches my weird, crazy ramblings and enjoys what I share with you, thank you so much. Thank you. It just feels really great. There's no other word to say it then it feels really great to have put in consistent work, not only into myself but into what I share on my channel. And for that to be recognized. And I always had this kind of secret thought in my head that it was just impossible to become an influencer or make money on social media. I thought, that ship has sailed, I've missed the trend. But I've totally been proved wrong, so thank you. And over the next week I'm going to be working on memberships and what content I can bring to you that's even more juicy and more transformational. So if there's anything that you as a viewer would like to see me offering, I just put my hand in some spit on a plant. If there's anything that you as a viewer, as a subscriber, would really love, whether that's a specific live stream, specific members only content, discounts of my services, merch is coming soon as well. But yeah, please let me know, what would you love from a membership? And of course it's going to be super low cost. Yeah, so exciting. So yeah, today really feels like such a celebration. And in the sunshine. I'm just so happy because I'm such a sun baby. All right, we've made it to the Bluebell Grove now. You can see how shady it is. The camera's just going to take a minute to adjust. There we go. And look, I'm even wearing a cute little, oh, you can't see, a little dress. Where are my legs? There we go. Black, of course. But yeah, I'm wearing a dress today and sandals, feeling in my feminine, loving life. I am such a summer girly. I do like autumn as well, but like, I'm a summer girly at heart. Now we've made it to the Bluebell Grove. We're going to have the most incredible soundtrack to this wandering and pondering today. This is one of the best spots around here for birdsong. Oh, it's delightful. Oh gosh, it feels so good to be out here as well, because I was out in Oxford. Like, I live about 35 minutes outside of the city, but I've been going in there a lot more recently. I was there last night for an event, and yeah, I got back quite late, so it feels even more nourishing to be here in nature. So I'm going to dive into this topic today because I'm still unpacking it and unraveling it in my own consciousness, but there are a lot of things that have come through, so I'm ready to share about those. So I wanted to talk, first of all, not in massive detail, but I wanted to talk about the abandonment wound, because that is where all of this stuff is stemming from. And by the way, my intent for sharing my own experiences of my wounds is not for trauma dumping. The only reason why I can share these things is because I've worked through them. My intent is, by me sharing, hopefully to help reflect within you perhaps where some of these wounds lie, so that you can become aware of them. And once we're aware of ourselves, these wounds don't have so much of a grip and a power over us anymore. Ooh, this is like an obstacle course. Oh, it's so pretty. The bluebells are gone now, but I still call this the Bluebell Grove because it's not actually called that, by the way. It's what I call it, because when the bluebells come out, it's just the whole forest behind me is just like awash with bluebells. Oh, it's so pretty and magical. So, abandonment wound. When a significant figure, usually a figure of authority or parenthood, or someone who was caretaking us, when we felt abandoned by them. So, I've spoken about this before. I have a huge abandonment wound in my life because I've never met my dad. And now I've done so much healing work around this, to the point where I'm not hurt by it anymore. I'm able to recognize where this pattern is so deeply ingrained, and I'm just constantly, consistently working through that. So, my mum and my dad were casually seeing each other, and they were together for a while, a year or so. My mum got pregnant, and my dad decided that he didn't want that. So he left. And, of course, that I've gone through the rage, the grief, the anger, the hate, the blame, all of the emotions. Now I'm just like, you know what? Like, I wasn't there in that situation. I don't agree with what he did. But everyone is wounded. Like, he did what he did. He didn't want the responsibility. That's fine. And so not only that, but also Like, I tried to contact him when I was like obviously able to make my own decisions, but he really just did not want to acknowledge me as a part of his life. Fine. But yeah, so there was no father figure in my life, no wanting to acknowledge me, no financial support, and this is a really significant one for me. So there was no financial support, no emotional support, no male role model in my life. Okay, and I'm sharing this not out of pity. I'm just saying it is what it is. Like, we all have been through things in our lives. A lot of us have actually had traumatic experiences and abandonment wounds that we actually don't remember because they hurt us so much at the time. Our mind decided that it would be more safe for our nervous system to completely forget it and lock it deep within ourselves. And that can be quite dangerous, because then physical illness can manifest. It's really noisy. Hopefully you can hear me. There's like an aeroplane and a tractor going past at the same time. It's really confusing for my brain right now. So that's all I wanted to share about an abandonment wound, because it is what it is. And a lot of us, somewhere along the line, have felt abandoned or neglected by a parent, a caretaker, perhaps a partner even, a life partner, someone else significant to us. So I'm going to unpack how this has played out in my life and what's been coming up for me recently, so that you can use my experiences as a mirror for yourself. Oh, if you see me like stopping all the time, I'm just covered in like cobwebs, spit off the trees. It's like an obstacle course. I actually don't know where I'm going as well. I always get really lost in the Bluebell Woods. I might find somewhere to sit down actually, although I don't know, I do love walking around here. It's just getting quite treacherous, and I do find that I get distracted from the point I'm trying to get across. Oh my goodness, now I'm in like, rose bushes. Or maybe they're blackberry brambles. Whatever it is, it hurts. Okay, coming out the other side. So that's the abandonment wound. And now we're gonna step into attachment. So if we think about this, right, I have never had a male role model in my life. I had a stepdad for a while, but he came into my life when I was a teenager. So it was very, very difficult for him to take on that role of a father figure, and it was just never fulfilled. And I've never had financial support from a man, never had love from a man, never been protected and taken care of by a man, and never had a male role model. So safe to say that my relationship with men has been pretty fucked most of my life. I'll put my hands up and admit that. Just turning around now because the path is coming out of the grove and I want to stay in here. I think I'm going to go back and I'll find somewhere to perch, or maybe over here actually. So yeah, that's that. And so I have had this very unhealthy attachment wound to men. Let's sit here. This looks like a nice place to perch. I'll walk again in a little bit. I'm just just feeling a bit agitated with all of the distractions of the grove. Yeah, so an unhealthy and toxic attachment style to men. I have always desperately been seeking love from men, but also not really, and I've never known or had a role model of what is a healthy way to be treated by a man. These are all things that I've had to learn for myself and teach myself, which is awesome because it's super empowering. Like, I get to write the story for myself, but it's been tough. It has been really tough. But I'm sure you can imagine this, but pretty much all of my life, like, my sense of self-worth has been totally attached to my relationships with men and how men treat me because of the abandon wound of my father. Like, I've spent my whole life trying to heal that wound through my relationships with men. But the only way to heal that wound is through my relationship with myself. But yeah, it's just so interesting when you start to recognize these things, because it starts becoming as clear as black and white, and it's like, oh, okay, now all of my relationships make sense, and this horrible sinking feeling inside me, I know where that's coming from. So let me explain and put this all into context a little bit. So this week, I think perhaps it could be something, energetically, cosmically, whatever is going on, something has been shifting within me. But also, I've been talking about this week. It's been a year since I just had this huge change in my life. It was definitely a rock bottom moment where a long-term partner and I broke up. We were living together. I moved in with a family member temporarily. I just couldn't work for a while as well. Like, I kept trying to get jobs and the universe was just intervening, and my guides were like, no, you need to rest, you need to heal. And everything was like, I'm broken and I'm 35 years old and I'm single and I've failed at life. And you know what? I just allowed myself to completely freaking crumble in the soup of that mess that I was in last year. And in that soup, in that magical cauldron of breakdown, like, I've had the most powerfully transformative year of my life. But yeah, it's been this week. There must be some significance, and I have realized that actually this time last year, it was my ex-partner's birthday, and we'd just broken up before that, and I think all of this stuff has been coming up for me because it's been a year. So a lot of emotions have been coming to the surface around this wound. Now, I haven't been thinking about my ex-partner because I did a lot of healing work around that, and how my relationship with him was connected to that father wound, the abandonment wound. So I haven't been thinking about my ex-partner, but really interestingly, like, these old emotional wounds have been surfacing, like, oh, I'm still a failure, like, I haven't got my life together, I haven't got a home, I'm still, like, building my business, but this is all bullshit. Like, this is all just programming, dark programming that feeds off our own sense of insecurity and lack. But I'm very aware of that voice now, but it's been coming up, bubbling up to the surface. I've been feeling very emotionally sensitive, like crying at the smallest things and just getting easily emotionally triggered. And yeah, two significant situations that are really interesting happened this week. I think the camera's getting really hot. I'm going to have to try and find somewhere in the shade because it says it's overheating and I don't want it to turn off. I'm about to get to the juicy bit. Let's just stand here in the shade. Hopefully if the camera's in the shade, that's going to be better. Yeah, it feels cooler here. So there's been this situation with a long-term client. I've been working with him for like 7 years. Amazing. Like, the journey we've been on together is amazing. And he owed me a significant amount of money, like a pretty freaking big amount of money. And he owed it to me for like more than a month that it was like an overdue payment, and I could feel all of this insecurity and anger and like hatred and resentment bubbling up within me. And it's so interesting because like my higher self is like, you've known this guy for 7 years, he's never not paid you, like it's cool, you know, it's just we have that trusting relationship. But the wound and whatever was purging within me was coming up and freaking out, and I was like just like going crazy, like, oh, he's just playing me, he's trying to get like free lessons out of me, just all of this shit. And I just allowed myself to get like just really scatty and chaotic. And then I was just like, I recognize that as the wounded feminine. And I say the wounded feminine because I choose to identify as a woman. I feel very feminine. There's also wounded masculine, but we're just talking about from my perspective at the moment. Wounded feminine. And as soon as I caught that, I said, okay, what would the dark feminine do? The dark feminine is the empowered, zero bullshit, powerful woman. So I invoked my inner Lilith and I said, do you know what? I just need to send him a really clear message and just say, let me know when you're paying me. And what do you know? When I sent that strong boundary that wasn't rude, it wasn't needy, it was just asserting a boundary, saying, when are you paying me? Or it wasn't that, it was, let me know when you're paying me. Next day, got a message from him. I've transferred the money over to my UK account. It'll be with you in 24 hours. Done. Because I took myself out of the wounded feminine, stepped into the dark feminine, and just said, I'm the one in control here. I'm the one in control. So that was that. But what that made me recognize is that I feel really insecure when my money and my like financial worth is entangled with a man because of that abandonment wound. So I've recognized that now. So I thought that was really interesting because I haven't fully recognized that before. And what it showed me even more is that, like, you know, I have to find that power and that assertiveness within me and that inner abundance within me. One of my paths in this life is to be my own father from within. I have to embody that because no one else can do that for me. I haven't had that in my life, so I have to embody that within me. I have to bring in that inner power, that sense of security, that money, all of these things. So interesting. So the second situation that happened, as I've been sharing with you a little bit, I have been dabbling in getting myself back into the dating world again. And I've been on some of the online apps, I've been talking to people, been having some fun conversations. And then someone that I've been talking to for quite a while, for like 6 weeks, he asked me on a date today. And then like for the last 4 days, totally ghosted me. And I'm not gonna lie, that abandonment wound came to bite me in the ass. And I was just like, I didn't spiral actually, because I was just like, you know what, it is his loss, like seriously, his loss. But there was just so much, there was a lesson in it, because I realized, like, okay, this guy has ghosted me, so I have invested way too much of my time and my energy in talking to someone who is not willing to actually step up. And that was a huge realization for me, because I have had this past pattern of putting all my eggs in one basket. And again, it's that attachment coming in, the attachment of the abandonment wound, where it's like, as soon as someone shows a little bit of interest, then I latch onto that and attach onto that. And it's almost like all of my logic and my instincts go out of the window, and it's just like diving headfirst all in. And I'm so grateful, because this ghosting has shown me that. And I'm like, I just need to get out there and have fun and like date multiple people and be treated like a princess and be assertive with what my standards are and what my boundaries are. Yeah. So that was interesting, really interesting. And I did, I felt like, at first when the ghosting happened, when like each day that went by, I was like, yeah, this is, at first, because obviously I'm like, everyone's busy, so if you don't reply for a day or two to someone that you don't even know, like, I'm not going to go all crazy over that. But when you've asked someone on a date and like set the day, and then it's like day 3, and then day 4, and then it's the day before the date and it's nothing, that the little wounded, abandoned girl in me got really upset. And you know what? For about half an hour, I let her get upset, and I let myself feel that emotion of abandonment. And then I called forth the dark feminine, and the dark feminine said, block him. Block him, because that is your standards. You are worth your weight in gold. And for someone to ghost you, to treat you with disrespect, and not even to give 10 seconds out of their day to write a text, block. Unworthy. I was like, yeah, damn. I love it. So it's been a fabulous week. The client paid me, by the way, and now I've gone from being ghosted on a date to being messaged and courted by multiple men. Feeling like a princess. I've got the whole weekend to myself to do with whatever I please. I'm a YouTube partner. I feel like the world is my oyster, but it's like we have to go through these real moments of wobbles and weakness, and yeah, it's been interesting that these wounds have been coming up, because the last few weeks I've been feeling a lot of like sensual energy in the air. And our sensuality, what does that relate to? Money and relationships and love. So it's been in the air. So not only have my own woundings been bubbling up to the surface, but there's been something going on collectively as well. And it's been a testing month for me. It's been a testing month, with the client who did pay me, but didn't pay me for so long that it took me right to the edge of my discomfort. That, plus I haven't had any new one-to-one bookings for over a month now, which again is definitely taking me to the edge of my discomfort, because I'm like, oh no, it's nothing. I thought it was a caterpillar going in my mouth. Didn't really want to eat a caterpillar today. I'm like, I feel freaking amazing. I feel so ready to receive and to meet new people and work with new people. And my energy is like, I feel it's really expansive. I feel healthy. I feel strong. But it's like the universe is like, we're just gonna make you just a little bit more uncomfortable. We're really going to test your patience. And I feel like this happens with abundance. Every time that we are about to take a big leap forwards into a new level of abundance, by that I mean money. I'm just talking about money, earnings, business expansion. Also for me, I want to move home. Like that is like a huge goal for me this year. I'm really starting to feel excited about where I want to be as well for the first time in ages, but I'm not going to tell you yet. But when, like right before these big shifts and changes happen, we are presented with situations that take us to the very, very like mountain edge point of our comfort zone. And it's almost like our guides or our higher selves are like holding us by the scruff of our neck, dangling us over the cliff, being like, yeah, what do you think about this? Are you really ready for that leap? So that's what this month has felt like for me. And you know me, I love living life on the wild side. I love facing my fears, so I'm all for it. But I just wanted to share it with you to perhaps just give you a different perspective, because again, like what I just said to you is from the perspective of the dark feminine, because the wounded feminine, wounded masculine too, but I'm just speaking from the wounded feminine. The wounded feminine would be like, the world is against me, my business is failing, no one wants to book me, my life is a mess, maybe I just need a man to come and rescue me. Whereas the dark feminine, as you've just heard, said like, I am embracing this initiation, which is the next step before I plunge into the most expansive, abundant era of my life. And you know what? The more that you tell that to yourself, the more that you believe it. I promise you. Because I've been self-employed for a long time now. And you have to grow resilient and grow a thick skin, because no matter how successful you are, there's always ups and downs in business. And I feel this month for me has been a test of my inner strength, and that is an inner masculine energy, the ability to stand strong and sturdy amidst the storm and amidst the chaos. And yeah, I do feel like that's something I've achieved this month. And I know I said I haven't had new bookings, but the bookings and the one-to-one sessions that I've held this month, for me, from my experience, hopefully from the clients as well, but I can only speak for myself, from my perspective, they have been some of the most deeply healing containers that I've ever held. And I've connected on such a deep, energetic, emotional level that I have felt every pain and experience that my client is going through in order to hold them in that space for them to truly heal and liberate themselves. Yeah, so it's been amazing. And you know what, like abundance isn't all about money. Yes, of course, money is freedom and we love money. But abundance is also, abundance is an energy and money is an energy. So abundance is more than just money. I feel like joy is abundance, and just being able to come outside and being like, fuck it. I got ghosted and I'm feeling fabulous because there is just so much magic and mystery in the world, and the birds are singing, the sun is shining, the sky is blue. There is so much goodness in the world that I just can't be sad anymore. I want to be a baddie, not a saddie. I hope you've enjoyed this wandering and pondering with me. My camera is about to explode of overheating, so I'm going to call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this with me. Saturday blessings, or Cataday. And yeah, let me know about the YouTube membership, any requests, what you'd like to see more of for me. Would you like for me to share more about the dark feminine? It's something that I'm really feeling called to dive deeper into. So if that vibes with you, let me know. And please do like this video, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff would just mean the world to me. If you do like my channel, donations are always greatly appreciated because there's always equipment and things that needs to be purchased, and it also helps me to give away more free content, which I love doing. I'd love to just do this for free all the time. Yeah, and if you would like to work with me, I would absolutely love to hold space for you for a one-to-one session, which you can find on my website, mystichearts.org. Sending you so much love. And if any of these wounds as well resonate with you, I'd love to know. And yeah, I hope that my reflections can help you open up to your own self-reflections. And yeah, please, please, please know that I'm not looking for sympathy or anything in the chat. Like I really don't need that. I don't feel sorry for myself. Like I feel like I love my life. I love my life. I love the path that I've had. I love the path that I've chosen to walk, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So sending you so much love. I'm going to enjoy the sunshine now.